and welcome to Being an Adult with Mimi Bonet. I hope you guys are having a fabulous Wednesday. I am. So far, so good. Braids are a little heavy, but they're fresh, so it's totally okay. Okay. So today I want to talk about having an identity crisis. What is an identity crisis? Okay, so let me tell you. It was about, I want to say, maybe three or 4 years ago. I had an identity crisis, and I was stuck, kind of like, who am I? What am I doing? What do I want to do? What do I want to be? Type of thing. And it's like, okay, yes, I know I'm Mimi, given, but like, seriously, like, what do I want to be known for? Like, I was like, I know I'm a kind hearted person. Like, that just goes without saying. That's like one of my characteristics. But like, if I die today or tomorrow, like, what would I be known for? What do I want to be known for? So I never had a panic attack. Like, I was on my way to work, and literally I got to work a little early. I think I got there like 15, 30 minutes early. So I was like sitting in the parking lot, and I'm like, no, no. Like, it's a lot of things that really just come over you when you're in your 30s, or when you're about to be 30. Like, it was like, whoa, what am I doing here? So it just kind of like hit me like, no, seriously, like, what are you doing? So I was like, okay, I know I want to design clothes, right? I love designing clothes. I like designing clothes more than I like sewing them. I do sew, I know how to sew, but if I had to choose, and if I had like a team, which I plan on building, and I'd be like, okay, guys, this is what we're doing, this is our vision for, this season, and let's go. Like, that's what I want. I want to be just the creator behind the magical pieces that you will see eventually. So it was just like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing with myself? I'm in my 30s. I'm single. Like, what's your career path? Like, what are you doing? Like, I've always had a job. I had a job since I was 13. So I'm like, at this point, I ain't retired yet. So, it's like, it just came over me like, you got to get your sugar honey iced tea together. And I'm like, yes, yes, I have to get it together. Like, okay, yes, I have my own car. I've always had my own place. I'm very independent. But still, like, I'm not making the money that I want to make, right? And so that's when it just dawned on me, like, what type of money do you want to make? Like, what do I want to make, per year, and all this stuff? What do I want to make per month, right? So I was just like, literally, like, who am I? Like, who am I? What am I doing? Type of thing. So I'm like, have you guys had an identity crisis? Like, what was your identity crisis? And I mean, it's really okay. I think, it's, for me, it's just a part of life. Like, we go through different seasons, different spells, just different changes as you start growing as a person. And because the things you liked 5 years ago is not going to be the things you may like today or even yesterday. Like, for me, like, I'm growing, and I am learning how to be comfortable in my skin. When I say comfortable in my skin, I'm like, I'm really learning how to be comfortable in my skin. And that's a lot. That is a lot. Like, seriously, you guys, to like wake up every day and genuinely love you and love the body that you're in. Like, beauty comes within. And that's like seriously important. So, you know, I've always been like a really kind of slim kind of girl, slim thick, if you would say. And so, like, now that I'm in, my mid 30s, I'm like, this not baby weight. Like, the baby's 15. So this not baby weight. So it's just like, okay, so we got to get back down. We're a little heavier than what we're used to and what we want to be, but seriously, I'm like, it's still okay. Like, okay, you want to lose weight? then you gotta lose weight. Like it's stuff you have to do to lose the weight because it's not just gonna fall off, you know. So I'm like, okay, I came up with a plan, and you know, do I deviate from that plan sometimes? Yes. But I'm like, I'm really trying, you guys, to stay as consistent as possible. But back to my identity crisis. So I'm just like, I have some stuff I want to do. And it's so many things I want to do. Like, oftentimes people will say, well, you know, stay in this lane, do this, do that. I don't know what I mean. Like, you know, like I'm not the type of person that steps on anybody's toes, but I'm big on like millionaires have different strands of revenue. You know, they're not just doing this one thing. I am trying to become a billionaire, you know, so I have to do one thing, but don't get me wrong, I know I have to start something and conquer that and then, you know, move on to the next venture. But I have three ventures in my head and I want to do all three. And so all three, they kind of really blend together. And I mean, that's what I planned on doing. But first things first, I'm like, okay, let me start with this goal. So start with this goal. Let's get this goal up and running. Let's be consistent with this and let's do it because I'm like, I had to find myself. Like I really had to find myself. And you know, I have talks with myself and I'm totally okay. Like people always say, Mimi, you live in your own world. And I'm like, what do they mean by that? Like what do you mean when you say I live in my own world? Because I'm a very like bubbly person. You know, I have a really just a really happy, you know, personality spirit. But I'm not I wear blonde hair. I love blonde hair, but I'm not a blonde. Like I'm not like what? One plus one is what? You know, like I'm not that girl. But you know, I mean, I handle things differently. Like when it comes to stress and just different stuff, you know, I just handle things in a different way. We all handle things in a different way. And I choose to be, you know, I'm really optimistic. So I see the positive before I see the negative. Like I'm not a Debbie Downer or anything like that. But I'm definitely not oblivious to what is going on around me. I'm very cautious. I'm very aware. And you know, I told y'all I got some gangster in me. So, you know, like I'm good with that. But I like being in my own world, but you know, I'm just like you have to figure out who you are and love who you are because it was some days where I have days where, you know, I just felt like I was ugly. Like, you know, you just wake up and it's just like nothing's right. Like, you can't get your hair right. You can't get this face that done been attached to your body for however many years right. It's just like you just can't get nothing right and you just don't feel like yourself. But it's like just a few days ago or maybe the night before, you felt like you was the sugar honey iced tea. And it's like, okay, well, I want to feel like that every day. Like, how can I get that sugar honey iced tea every day? And I kid you not, on my um this year on my 36th birthday this year I didn't do much. You know, COVID took my birthday away, but thank God I'm still here. I'm blessed, I'm alive, my son's good, you know, my family's good, my friends, so it's a blessing. But like, you know, I no longer experience those ugly days. Like I hadn't had a ugly day yet. You know, I hadn't woke up and been like, I just don't feel pretty. So I'm good on the pretty. I finally conquered that, you know, and don't get me wrong, I never had like low self esteem, but you know, throughout my life, bullying has been a factor. You know how girls, some catty girls are, you know, when they pick on you, but that's a whole nother conversation another day. But like, yeah, so I'm just like, I hadn't had an off day yet. So I'm like, okay, great. We feel good, you know we're pretty, we're good on the pretty, we're working on our body and stuff like that. So now, you know, like let's focus on this money. Because I was like, who am I? You know, I started even thinking like, is this my voice? I'm like, is this like my voice? Like, do I have another voice? Like, it was just a whole bunch of different things. Like, should I talk like this? You know, because growing up, I've always pretty much talked like this. And, you know, some people be like, why you talk like that? Or, oh, you sound like a white girl. And I'm like, how stupid is that? You know, I'm just a very proper person. From the South. So you think white people are the only people that can sound like people who have sense? That's stupid. And that's just, that's stupid for somebody to even say, and I'm just like, so you don't think black people can talk like they have sense? Whatever. So, I was really like just going through it and just like really questioning like my self being and, almost my self worth. Like, what am I doing here? Like, what is my purpose? And I figure I knew what my purpose was. I figure, like, hey, I'm supposed to be a fashion designer. Like, you are supposed to be making clothes out here. You are supposed to be making people look good, feel good, and just, it just shows, right? And I still want to do that. But within my identity crisis, it's just like I would be at home and people will call and they'll be like, "What are you doing?" And I literally would just make up stuff. Like, "Oh, I'm doing this," "Oh, I'm doing that." And I really wasn't doing anything. It was like I was in a slum, almost like in a sunken hole or something like that. But I would go out every day. I would put on this brave face and still be the happy go lucky Mimi and all that stuff. But like inside my home, like I was just like, and that was my whole mood. Like it was just like but I'm not a complainer. I'm not a woe is me, type of person. So I'm just like, okay, get it together. Get it together. And I constantly told myself that, but like I think it was like a good 3 to 6 months to where I was just like down. And I'm like, okay. Okay, like, okay, I'm gonna get it together. And I just used to have my pep talks, and I'm not a crier or anything like that. So, I just used to like really just get to myself, and I'm like, I always remember my godmom saying that, like if you find yourself waking up in the middle of the night and stuff like that. She was like, just use that time to talk to God. Like, use that time to read your Bible, just pray, and things of that nature. So I started doing that. Like I have, like I said, I talk to myself and I talk to God, like all the time, because like at the end of the day, He's gonna help me. He's always looking out for me. When I'm up. Um, when I'm sleeping, if my spirit is up or down, like, good or bad, like he's always in my corner. So why not? I need to donate some of my time to him. It's 24 hours in a day. Like, why can't I? He's looking out for me the whole 24 hours, plus. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm forever indebted, to God. So, in Jesus. Like, amen. But yeah, so seriously, I it was just like really crazy because you're like, I want to do this and I know I want to do it. But it's just like I just wasn't doing it. Like it's just like it's not that I didn't have the will to do it, because like some days I'll start it but I wouldn't finish it, and I don't know what that's called. But I was just like, okay, I mean, not nobody not just gonna come knock on your door and say, hey, you Mimi, you want to be a fashion designer, let's go. Like you have to make it happen. But stuff, life happens, things happen, and sometimes we do get down on ourselves and we are our worst critics sometimes. But I'm like, life is a process, and it's all in how you process it, how you handle things, how you take things. And I'm like, I'm still here. So as long as I'm still here, that means I have another chance to get closer to my goals, to my dreams. Like, we don't have these dreams for nothing. We don't have these visions for anything. Like, we all have a set purpose in life. And I'm like, I want to fulfill my destiny because I know I'm supposed to be doing like way more things and make way more greater things. And maybe had I did those things when I was younger, maybe I could have handled it, maybe I couldn't, but I would like to think that in whatever I do, God will always have. When I was younger, maybe I could have handled it, maybe I couldn't, but I would like to think that in whatever I do, God will always have me, no matter what age I am. It will be the right time because it's all in God's plan. So I'm just like, okay, now that we have this down pat, now that we're like, okay, let's go, like let's go, because I never really set goals for myself, to be honest. Like, like we learned all that stuff, I mean, and I did in school, and in college, but it was just like I never like said, okay, month one, dot 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 dot. Month two, da 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 da. Like I would write down plans because I'm a planner. Like I am big on planning. Like I know what I'm doing tomorrow. Like I got it all planned out. It's very rare where I just wing it or type of thing. And so I'm just like, okay, this is what we're doing. So it does get really hard sometimes, like, but you have to just keep going. Like, if you really want to do it, know that you can do it, but it does take work. It's no shortcuts on things, and sometimes you don't want to take shortcuts. Like, you want to give it your all. And I look at it like this, like, I work for someone, I go on their job, I give them 100%. I need to do the same thing for myself. You have to do the same thing for yourself too. And you're going to have some good days, you're going to have some bad days. But at the end of the day, as long as you know where you're headed and what you're doing, that is what matters the most. So, like I'm just going through all these motions, sitting in my car within these 30 minutes, having a panic attack, like sugar honey iced tea. Like, what am I doing? Like, why am I not doing this? Why am I not doing that? And it's just like sometimes you just don't have an explanation for things. It's just either you're gonna do it or you're not gonna do it. Sometimes it's just that. It's just that black and white. And then sometimes you have those gray areas too. But I just want to let you guys know that, hey, we all go through things in life, and we're going to continue to go through things in life, whether it's good, whether it's bad. Hopefully we overcome all those things and we learn from them, right? So I'm just like, since then, I have not had an identity crisis. Like, I am 1,000,000% okay with this voice. And honestly, like, I think I have 3 different voices. Like, this is my regular voice, and then I have my work voice, where it's a little more professional, but it still kind of sounds like this, still that little high pitch, I guess, voice. And then I have my firm voice, like, don't play with me voice. So it depends. It depends. You get different voices in different situations or whatever. But with all those voices, I am still true to me. I'm definitely still true to me, and I'm always still me. But it was just a lot to take in. Like, I didn't even know I can go through that whole whirlwind within those 30 minutes, and just be like, just seeing my life, like my whole life just flashing, in front of me, like every stage, like what I did, from the time I moved out of my parents' home, and moved to Atlanta to go to college, from the time I had my baby, and after I had my baby, and caring for him when he got sick, and then moving back to Savannah. Like, it was just I just seen everything. It was just crazy. And so I'm just like, I don't know, like, I've never experienced that whole who am I? And I think it's a book, like it's a Dr. Seuss book, Who Am I? I think it involves like a bird or something like that. Now I can't remember if he was trying to find his mom or something like that, but like, yeah, like, I just want to let you guys know, like, things are normal, like, let's not get down on ourselves. Let's not beat up on ourselves. Like, let's love ourselves. Like, you have to love yourself inside and out, and truly. And I really love myself inside and out. I appreciate myself inside and out. Like, yes, I'm not in the career field where I want to be yet, and I'm not making the money that I want to make yet. But does that mean I can never make it? Absolutely not. Like, absolutely not. Like, I can make it. And, I'm comfortable, like, with my skin. Like, when I say I had an identity crisis, like, it was from everything, from like from head to toe. Like, I've never had an issue with me being black. I love being black. I'm all for it. I love my skin tone. But like, when I moved to Atlanta, people will always call me like, hey, sexy chocolate. And I used to be like, soon as I hear the word chocolate, like, I'm automatically thinking like black, like blacks, like black, like smut or something like that, right? Like charcoal. And I'm like, what? Excuse me, I'm not a sexual chocolate. To this one guy, he was like, Mimi, you are chocolate. He was like, you ever seen the color of a Snicker bar and all these different things he started naming. And I was like, oh, I guess I am. So, I begin to been okay with people calling me chocolate, so I'm just like, I guess I am the color of a crayon. Like, it was just so many things that I was going through, like, people would say, where did you get your butt work from? Excuse me? My butt work? Like, if I'm around here spending $10,000, trust me, it's not gonna be on no butt and fixing my body. Like, I'm just gonna do that the regular way. But it was just like, what do you mean? Like, how do you? And I mean, that's just the age that we're in, where so many people are getting things done, and to each his own. But I mean, for people just to be so comfortable to ask you that, and I'll be like, oh, well, that's rude. And secondly, it's all me. It's natural, it's hereditary, and and somehow people thought that sparked the conversation, and that's when that third voice got to come out, that firm one, to let you know, like, I'm not that girl to have this conversation with. Like, I'm not her. Don't play with me. Let's move on for your sake. But it was just a lot. Like, and it really didn't have so much to do with people ignorance, like people asking me things, because I've been there, did that. But it was more so like me, like, girl, what are you doing? Like, what is it that you're doing? Because I'm like, yes, in my head I have this fairy tale. And when I say fairy tale, I mean, like, we all have these types of dreams and visions for ourselves. So yes, I want to be married to a loving man who loves me, who believes in God, who loved my son as if it was his own, who wants to have more children, who wants to be a great devoted husband and a male figure, to my son. And I want to return the same as a woman, to him. If he has children, be good to his children, and be a good wife, and just honor him. And we build together. I mean, and we just have this just unconditional love for one another. Like, when I just see him, like, I just melt. That's the type of love I want. But, and I mean, yes, I want a nice house. It doesn't necessarily have to have a picket fence, but, I want a nice house, whatever house we choose, the furniture, two more children, like, just have a good life. Like, it's just certain things you'd be like, oh, I'm 30. Oh, well, I should be this. I should be here, here, here. I'm 35. Like, oh no, I gotta have this. So, it's just certain things you want to have done. I'm like, I hadn't even got my braces yet. Like, I want my braces. I have to straighten out my teeth. So I'm like, it's so many things, that just ran through my head. And I'm just like, like, I'm like, so you want to grow out your hair, you want your mohawk for how long, or you want to wear this, you want to wear that, and I'm like, okay, well, there's always weed. That's not, that's not that big of a deal. And like, it was just so much. It was just so much. And like the jobs I was working in, that job at that time, like I was working in a healthcare field, and the women, they were very catty, and I'm not a catty person, so I didn't kind of fit in, with them, because I'm on my lunch break. I like to take my lunch and actually eat lunch, and I like to kind of be by myself and talk to my friends or whatever if they're on lunch, so it was just like it was a lot. And I'm like, even from like the way I like to dress. I like to dress a certain way. I like to look a certain way. Like I love my dresses. I love dresses. One day I'm gonna wear dresses every day and stuff. But it was just really like a guideline of my life. Like, girl, let's write down your guideline. Let's get to these goals, and let's be who you are called to be. And is it still time? Is it too late? I'm too old to go to school. And just like all these different things. And I'm like, okay, you're never too old, to go to school. So I'm like, breathe, breathe. If you're serious, you will get there, and I'm just like, just one day I had an epiphany. And because I like I said, I started and I stopped, and I started and I stopped, and I started and I stopped, and I started and I stopped. And I'm just like, okay, I don't want to stop no more. Like, I want to keep going until the wheels fall off, right? So I'm just like, I literally had this epiphany this year, and I'm like, let's go. Like, I deserve this, my son deserves this, like my family deserves this. Like, girl, we gonna be all right. We done made it this far, and now it's time to get to that money. So like, I know who I am now, like as a woman. Like, I know 100% like what I want. I know 100% like it's okay for me to think. You know what I'm saying? The way I think, yes. And I'm always open to what other people, have to say. But like, sometimes it's okay to say, hey, no, thank you. I don't want to hear that. I'm not interested in all that stuff. Like, you don't have to be subjected to certain things. Like, you can always remove yourself from certain conversations that you don't want to have, or be privy to. Like, I don't want to hear everything that people got to tell me. I'm just, no, thank you, and just keep it moving. So it was just, it was a lot. Like, identity crisis and finding yourself. Like, seriously, it's a real thing. It's a real deal to like kind of navigate through your life and try to find your place in life. And are you happy in that place? Because at the end of the day, and like how people say, like, success is measured by you. Like, and when I say success, like, my parents always told me to do something that makes you happy, that you love waking up and doing every day, and it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't matter if what the other person think, you know what I'm saying? They're not paying your bills, they're not feeding your soul. As long as you're happy and it's something that you could be proud of, then hey, be happy with that. And it's legal. I hope it's legal. But yeah, like, seriously, be happy and be proud of you. Because I'm like, at the end of the day, I want to be proud of me. And as long as I'm proud of me, my son is going to be proud of me. My parents is going to be proud of me. My siblings, my friends, and whomever else. Like, and it all starts back to you. You are the key to whatever door you want to open. Like, you are the key. So, hey, anybody have an identity crisis, just know that you will get through it. Pray, love, surround yourself with, positive people that really want to see you go places, and people that are not afraid to be honest with you, because honesty is sometimes hard. Seriously, it's really hard to be honest, especially to the people you love sometimes, because you don't want to hurt their feelings, right? Right. So, again, guys, happy Wednesday. This has been Mimi Bonet for being an adult. So Let's always be an adult. Let's be responsible. Let's be loving. Let's be kind. Let's spread love to each one another. Let's make sure we have some life insurance policies on ourselves and our loved ones. And, let's just be good. Let's spread joy. Let's love. So until next time, guys, toodles. Stay safe. Love you all and see you soon.